Hi everyone, Simon here with a review / overview of Manga Kakeru, which is a manga maker for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita. It's not cross-buy, but it's only available in the Japanese PlayStation Store, so you need to be able to get on there to get it. But it's quite cheap, and I was really impressed with the functionality that it has for the price, particularly as I've mucked about with things like Komipo and things like that on PC. I was wondering just exactly how this would work on a console, and I was pretty surprised actually. So you're able to make your own manga strips as well as uploading them onto the Granzilla website, or you can just keep them for your own use. And they basically put up a disclaimer that if you're putting filth together, which you know that I was doing, they say just don't upload it to our servers and enjoy it yourself, which is all cool. So when you go in, there's like a tutorial to get you started so you can kind of see some of the stuff that's going on, and it's almost like a choose your own adventure, so that it kind of pauses as a story unfolds and you can kind of go in and edit some of the bits in the frame so that it teaches you different bits as you go along. The game starts out with, if you just want to go in from scratch, it gives you a boy and a girl character which you can then add to, customise, or just completely scrap and make your own character sets. You can have plenty of different characters, and you have plenty of different types of manga that you can create as well. So what I really liked was that you don't have to have just vibrant colours. You can have it all just like shaded in black and white. There was a variety of different palettes that you could use, and I was really impressed with that because you can basically really make a distinct stylized manga, and you can do that for just separate frames, or you can do it for entire strips all the way through, which was great. You can then build up your character database, giving them different clothes, different outfits, different hairstyles, eyes, so on and so forth. And they're 3D models, so when you then put them into the frame, you can then move them and position them and scale them using the analog sticks and holding down shoulder buttons and stuff like that. And it takes a little while to kind of get used to, because you need to start understanding framing and scaling and exactly kind of what you want to do. And they're kind of like dioramas, so you would then choose the poses that you want them to have, and there's like a couple of hundred that you can do, and that gives you enough flexibility for you to then kind of create your own weird and wonderful stories. Once you've then done that, all of the frames can be coloured with background images, and that was kind of one of the only downsides that I found with this, is that there wasn't a ton of background images unless you like a manga taking place in a school. And so you were kind of limited with that kind of stuff, but you could do it just like on like a background of sky or something like that, or you could just choose to leave that completely plain. You could then put in all of the different effects. So if you wanted to show that they were like running, or they were having like a nanny effect, then you could put all of that kind of like, I forget the actual like word of it, but it does come up in English when you're going through the actual builder. So you can have like the exclamation marks coming out from the face and all of that kind of stuff. You can have a variety of speech bubbles in there as well. And then you can have like the option to have what's called like a coma mask, which is where you can even have them like exploding out of the frame, or the coma as like the actual real thing is called. The extra effects that you can have are called manpoo, by the way. I've just popped into my head. So if you want to have like expressive motion, then that kind of helps with that as well. There's no particular limit to how much you can stick in a frame necessarily, or you could go nuts and reach a limit, but it'd look too clunky. But the idea of this is that you layer things on top of each other. So it works very similar actually to something like Photoshop Pro, where everything that you put in has a layer, and then you can, if say you want to put like a character in front of someone else and more into the foreground, A, you can do that via scale, but B, you could have them overlapping slightly by moving them up and down the layers on the right hand side. And that can give you a surprising amount of depth and field. You can then save things with templates, move on to your next frame, and kind of like drag and drop in. And what I really liked about the templates was that there's a couple of hundred where you can it picks up your characters that you've already made and drops them into the frame, so you could actually like really quickly drag and drop and make like a dodgy cartoon in a few minutes once you've got your characters sorted out as well. And so you could really make something admittedly quite cookie cutter, but it gives you results quicker than going right down into the detail. Because actually I'd recommend you, if you do look at these kind of things, muck about with the tutorial first, then play with the templates, because it helps you understand how they've built things. Because when you drop a template in, you can see on the right hand side how the layers are structured, and that's really, really helpful to understand. Of course, you don't necessarily have to have characters and dialogue going on in something. It could just be a giant effect. You can have just title screens as well. And I believe there is options for including your own images, but I didn't try it because I didn't understand the menu. So don't judge me. But I was more than happy mucking about on this game, just chipping away at it, doing I basically, as I was playing this, I'd do like 10 minutes a day, and I'd focus on making like 1 or 2 frames, and then I'd put it down and I'd be like, right, tomorrow's story, and it was really, really interesting. And I got basically, there's, as I was working towards the platinum trophy for this, you need to play not every day for a month, but you need to play for 30 days. So the idea was that I would make a 60 frame manga in 30 days. And I've done it and I've continued playing it since. It's been great fun. I will not be sharing any of the stuff that I've made. And for all of that kind of exporting stuff, it must be said that if you've got things like Komipo on the PC, Manga Maker on the PC, even Visual Novel Maker on the PC, they have much better exporting functions. But for just ease of use and the surprisingness of being able to use a controller for things, I found really, really useful. The only kind of downside that there was around using the controller is when it comes to typing. So if you don't have a USB keyboard connected to your PS4, that'll be a bugger for you. And just as a side note from that, obviously this is Japanese first, and it has got the Romanji characters, but they're spaced out quite heavily. And whilst you can change the font size and colour of things, Romanji in Japanese language is always heavily spaced. So it really meant that I had to think about the types of phrases that I would use, which basically meant that I was making memes all the way through. But it does limit your English amount, because you can't squeeze down words to a normally spaced letter placement. So yeah, just bear that in mind if you're going to be writing in English. However, surprisingly deep, surprisingly functional, and way better than I thought it was going to be. So yeah, another good thumbs up here from Higher Plane Games. I hope you all have a great day. I appreciate that this is going to be exceptionally niche, but someone had to make a video on it, and it might as well be me. 2 thumbs up. You guys will take care, and I'll catch you again on Higher Plane Games, hopefully. Bye for now. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a collection of media projects ran by me. If you like what you see and want to find out more, visit patreon.com/Higher Plane Network. Your support can make so much more possible, be that a like, a comment, a share, or a pledge. Thanks for watching.